I look forward to seeing how you will handle yourself in the rather unique scenario that will be encountering inside the city. Goodbye for now. Yeah, I'm interested in what Tyrath would do. I mean, Tyrath is not coming personally, but he did send his general, and he's probably gonna look at us as I'm gonna go fucking ape shit. Goodbye for now. Yeah, see you, I say as Aiden finally teleports away. Araka didn't leave for real, or is he still invisible? I say. Yes, he left for real, Araka says in an exasperated tone. You don't need to ask me this every single time. I will tell you if he's still hiding. Right, I say. Is this how you guys interact with Aiden all the time? Diane asks us looking genuinely puzzled. You all seem so casual about it. Yeah, you get used to it after some time, Darren says. So which way was it if it were going again? If you were going again? That way, Diane says. The nearest sacred wood would be within a few days walking distance of here. If we keep heading in that general direction. Alright, let's go then. Darren says. Of course, Diane tells him, follow me. After we followed Diane further into the woods, my thoughts very quickly began to drift away from Meredith, Aiden and his message, because to me at least, there were far more important things to think about. My magical stats are working, and I also know know for a fact that there is a way to extract knowledge from the Magium without risk of being erased from existence or becoming insane. All of a sudden, Kate's suggestion of me using knowledge from the Magium to modify my stat device into extracting the energy directly from the magical plane does not seem so far-fetched anymore. This is quite possibly the closest I've ever been to realizing my lifelong dream. Maybe it wasn't so impossible after all. Maybe I can become a mage. Holy shit, that's so cool. Chapter 12 of Book 3 is now available. Press the next button to proceed. Wait, there's Chapter 12? I thought Chapter 11 was the last one. Hold on, let me check. Araka, wake up, Eluna says. Barry, already completed the task you gave him 10 minutes ago. If you don't give him something to do, he'll start testing that obnoxious spell of his with a blinding flash of light over and over again, and none of us want that. Hey, I say, you should be grateful that I tested the spell as many times as I did. The last thing you'd want during a tense fight would be for me to blind you by accident because I didn't practice enough. That spell has a very delicate timing, you know. I'm sure it does, Eluna tells me in a dismissive tone. Then she picks up the amulet again so that she can speak louder into it. Araka, seriously, what are you doing? We've been calling out to you for ages. You haven't responded at all. Don't make me spin you. Alright, Araka says in a exasperated tone. I'll get Barry his blasted task. Just give me one more minute. I'm kind of in the middle of something. Let me guess, Eluna says. You're trying to find an explosion spell that requires less energy to cast so that you can take us by surprise the next time when you try to escape from the amulet. Is that it? Wrong, Araka says. If there were a faster explosion spell, I would have used it years ago, but if you have to know, I am currently trying to create a modified version of my soul absorption spell. Instead of absorbing the host's soul, I fuse with them, and we both get equal control of the body. You mean like me? Oh my god. I just realized something. Is it possible that at some point we will absorb Araka into us? And Barry and Araka would be the combo duo? One with like insane intuition, other with knowledge and power. Not intuition, like a practical application and like crazy ideas. And the other one with like, holy shit, that would be a crazy duel. Holy shit, that would be crazy. Also, like, doesn't it like kind of fucks up the sex life of these people? Like, or like any romantic interaction. Like you're doing anything and she's like, she jumps in like, oh, what are you doing? That would be kind of awkward. Oh man, but that's a perpetual threesome if you think about it another way. You mean like me and what's happening? Yeah, you mean like me and Flower? Luna says as perplexed. But why? What could you possibly have to gain from doing something like this on purpose? I thought you hated it when you got fused with Therius by accident. I did, Araka says, but you see, the thing is that if I ever do escape from my amulet again, for whatever reason, I can't afford to take over Flower's body the same way as last time, because then you'd both essentially be dead. Everyone would attack me to avenge you again, and I'd be forced to murder them all for good this time. What exactly would that be a problem to you? Luna says, still just as confused as before. You've already killed us before, why not just do it again? Because then my whole plan to use you all to take my vengeance upon the gods would be ruined, Araka shouts. I'm not going to get another opportunity like this in a million years. Where else do you think I'm going to find another clown trope that has a personal beef with one of the gods and has a minimal chance of killing them with my guidance? You think I want to go back to my boring own plan of just killing them myself when I came up with a genius idea like this? You can't be serious, Luna says. You're telling me that you're willing to live together with me and Flower in the same mind while sharing control of the body with both of us just for the sake of your plan. Yeah, sure, why not? Araka says in a casual tone. We can have tea parties with biscuits, whatever in the morning, and then we'll do murder sprees in the evening. I'm sure we can work something out. I'm sorry that I'm finding this very hard to believe. As you should, Araka tells us. If you would have been so easily ready to trust the word of someone who already killed you once, it would have meant that you have learned nothing from me during the years when you were my pupil. Tell Araka don't believe her either. I don't. Both of these. What's the point of us interjecting? This is kind of weird. Why are you interjecting into their conversation? Well, I guess we're waiting for her to do the thing. Oh, tell Araka that I believe her. I mean, we are sarcastic in these things a lot of the time. So, Araka, I don't believe her either. Yeah, let's say I believe her. Let me save though, just in case they get super angry at me or something. Tell Araka I believe her. Well, I personally believe Araka, I say. See that? Araka tells Luna. Barry is a gullible moron. I need to do is act friendly with him for a few days and he thinks I'm harmless. Aren't you glad that you didn't end up like him? On that alone, I will have to agree with you, Iluna says begrudgingly. Yeah, whatever you say, I tell them. If you need me, I'll be over there by those rocks testing a few more spells. And you know what? That didn't end too badly. I'd like Araka to focus on researching a new spell while I had to... That's not too bad. It's just like finding a, that's very, very simple. I don't mind that. That's not too bad. It's just a simple conversation. That I can focus on research. Let me reload that. Let me just try it, because I feel like she's gonna get angry with us or something. But what is worth, I don't believe Araka either. I say, very good, Araka says, maybe you are not a complete lost cause after all. Now be a good boy and play with your spells for a few more minutes until I finish what I'm doing here. As if I wasn't going to do exactly that, even without you telling me. If I say, if you need me, I'll be over there by those rocks. So this is a better interaction. I let Araka focus on researching her new spells while I head to a more isolated part of our camp, which is perfect for me letting loose a little and experimenting with my newly acquired magic. During the 2 days since we left the Lessethi base, I've been spending as much time as possible cataloging my various available spells in my notebook, testing each of them out to make sure that I could indeed use them when required. Also tried out quite a few combination of spells that I've discovered while doing research with Brynhorn back in the day, but some of those turned out to be surprisingly trickier than I thought. Right, there was a theory and practical type of thing. Unsurprisingly, it turns out that it's much easier to theorize on the effects of a spell combination than to actually manage to use it in practice. Combining spell is really advanced technique after all, and the stat device doesn't really have any built-in feature to help me with this, since it was designed to cast the spell separately. The only way in which I can become accustomed to this is through repeated experimentation, just as I would have done if I were a regular mage. I suppose this is one rare thing for which Brynhorn generally deserves some praise. Whenever I come up with an outlandish idea for combining 2 or more spells, he almost always managed to make it work nearly effortlessly, could follow my instructions perfectly, could easily tell that he had spent countless amounts of hours practicing his magic, all for the purpose of one day surpassing Ozarius. Hey Barry, you're practicing your spells again, Hardrick says with a grin as he passes by me with a bottle of ale in his hand. You're still in need of a test subject, I could lend you a hand. For a minute. I've got nothing to do for the time being, and I'm just drunk enough to not consider the consequences of what I'm offering. Wow, yeah, that would be great, I say enthusiastically. I actually do have a few targeted spells that can only be used on living beings, which I haven't had the opportunity to try out yet. I've been begging Kate and Darren to let me test them out, test these on them for the past 2 days, but they never agreed. So I've heard, Hardrick says as he takes another sip from his bottle, then puts it on the ground. Shortly afterwards, he steps away from the bottle. He turns to face me, stretches his arms outward, inviting me to cast a spell at him. Well, Hardrick says, what are you waiting for? Just give it your best shot. Give me your best shot. Just as I was about to cast one of my spells, Hardrick dashes at me at incredible speed, making it impossible for me to target him. Too slow, Barry, Hardrick says, too slow. Didn't you say that you were going to help me? I ask him confused. I'm helping you, Hardrick says. You think your enemies are just going to stand in place and politely ask you to cast your spells on them. It's much more realistic this way, plus I get to have more fun. Oh, so that's how it is, I say, as I ready up another one of my spells. Does he have an AoE? Aim for him. Before I get to cast anything, my stat device from my pocket starts beeping, letting me know that I finally received some new stat points. Perfect timing. Do I have the magic stats? Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Cancel. So I cannot invest in this. This will automatically increase. Interesting. So I suppose magical sense and combat technique would be helpful. You know what? Let's full up magic technique, magic sense, because that's probably really good. We don't need toughness, so we have never used toughness too much. I'll go with aura hardening. Aura concealment is also pretty good though, but I've already put a point in aura hardening, so I'll just do this.